an account. I'm an executive and sales coach, and I will be your host today. So this is our second day of the ICF here in Portugal. So we have lots of activities, lots of energy, and so we are going to start this session with also lots of energy. So first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, and because of them, this is possible to happen. And of course, welcome Ishil, that with a in a very generous way, she came and she's going to share her time and her experience here with us. So she will also share some key messages and some ideas that she shared in her first book that is as the name of the gift of being unfulfilled at work. Okay, so Ishil, she holds a PCC credential. She is the host of Unique Careers. She has also a podcast. She is the co-founder of Big Coach Academy. She is certified as a meditation teacher, a coach trained, and also a mentor coach. So with this, I will say that this session will be recorded, and if anyone would not like to part in, just turn off the cameras and feel free to take notes, to put in the chat some questions, so that this will be a very practical and proactive session. Okay, so I will take care of the time, so don't worry. And so I will. Okay. So Hishil, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Anna. Thank you everyone for coming today. It's lovely to see you. We had a bit of chat before you all joined with the organizing committee, and I heard some people were joining from heaven. Some people were joining from Lisbon, and I wonder where you are joining from. I am right now in Munich, Germany. I'm originally from Turkey. I have been living in Germany for the past 10 years. And I wonder where you are right now. So if you would care, type it in the chat so we see where are we globally located, where are we connected? Because the purpose of this, one of the reasons why we are together as coaches in ICF communities is that we are connected regardless of our nationalities, regardless of where we are sitting, regardless of our past choices. We are coaches and we are here to learn together and to practice coaching together. So I will be looking through your chat later because I will be now hosting, but it's wonderful to see the conversation flowing already in the chat. Thank you for sharing. So today I will be talking about, first of all, what our general topic is. So we will be definitely talking about the imagining of the future. We will be imagining future together. And I have some invitations to you from the place that I have experienced the past and how I see what we probably need to pay attention for reimagining the future. And the topic that I stand from is the gift of being unfulfilled at work, changing the perception of work experience. What made you interested in this topic? I am sure you found a point that was important to you, that called you to this title. So again, if you would like, share it in the chat, what was interesting to you about this. If I would make an assumption, which we don't do as coaches, but I will do because I'm a presenter in this session, is that there is a lot of thing going on in the topic of work. It's a topic we need to talk about because we see that there is the hype, this great resignation concept that is happening in the world right now. And some data proves what's happening. So 49% of employees report that they are experiencing burnout. 73% says they are actively looking for jobs or thinking about quitting. And 52% say they leave because they don't feel that their work is meaningful. So that is what our current environment tells us about why work is important. Something is happening here. So we cannot just close our eyes. As coaches, we are curious what's happening here. But I am a human and I'm an individual, and I have my own reasons that I am curious about work, because that has been an important part of my personal journey. I would summarize, work has been a source of suffering, but at the same time, it was a huge source of my becoming. If I will draw you, which I did, a journey, a cycle of my experience with work, it starts with this child who is really confident and happy, who knew exactly what she wanted to do. She wanted to become a dancer. And then through this journey, this child, all right, we are continuing. This child turned into someone that is lost, doesn't know what to do. And then this child became an adult and had experienced, oh, that was a terrible choice. I don't like what I do. I'm depressed. I don't know where I will go from here. And then through going through that experience, there was another up, oh, okay, that's something I can do. Oh, that's important to me. Okay, let's put it into practice. But I didn't see that coming. All right, let's do this then. So there was this continuous cycle. And that cycle, this unfulfillment at work, actually made me the person I am today and brought me where I am at. So from the place that I'm speaking right now, I'm a professional coach. I host a podcast. I have written a book. I co-founded a coaching training institute called Be Coach Academy. All this happened because of all these experiences. The unfulfillment at work actually gave me this mirror to tell me what is important to me. What is it that I'm looking for in life? What do I want to create? What do I care about? And I want to give this message to everyone that work is a continuous experience that is to expand our potential, to activate who we are here to become. And there is no stop to it. Wherever you are at, there is a continuation of it. And the journey is the gift. So together, we will be talking about the gifts of being unfulfilled at work. We will be first talking about what work means, because that's where things usually stem from. We will establish the definition of work, or how the current definition actually influences where we stand. We will be talking about, I will be touching a couple of key gifts of being unfulfilled at work, and will give you a couple of rest of them. And then we will think about how we can support elicitation of these gifts as coaches, or as individuals coaching ourselves as well. Now, starting with the definition of work. When I started writing my book, I wanted to first start from the beginning being what is work. And I looked at Cambridge Dictionary, and this was what I have found. Work is an activity, such as a job, that a person uses physical or mental effort to do, usually for money. So here, two things come out. Physical and mental efforts, usually for money. How does it feel for you when you look at this definition? For me, it definitely doesn't sound inspiring at all. And that definition actually is telling us to think about effort, put effort, get money. There's a history to that. We have this negative connotation of work that is coming from our cultures, our histories, our language. The first word from work is, I think it's in Portuguese, and in French it would be travail. This comes from the word tripalium, which means this instrument for torture that you see in the bottom of this presentation. So work was a torture, or it comes from torture. The word work in Russian is rab and comes from robota, which means a slave. And then the labor, the Latin word labor, actually also means very effortful work with suffering, like drudgery. So this being in our psyche, in our cultural heritage, it's normal that we look into work from a place of, okay, let me do something as minimum as possible so that I will enjoy my life. I will have my limited time at work, and then I will have my full time. That kind of approach of I do something for money makes us ask, what can I do to earn money? And makes us look for work that is outside of our usual life. I don't know about you, and I don't know the clients that you are coaching, but most of the time the clients I'm coaching are the ones they have chosen their work based on what they have studied, because it was something they could do for getting money so that they can enjoy their lives. There wasn't necessarily the concern of what do I enjoy to do, what do I enjoy doing, so that at the same time, it's during my life, I enjoy my work. We come from this place of, okay, let me choose something, a little corner where I will earn money, and then go through my life, have my relationships, go travel, have my hobbies. We look for work that is separate from our lives. We choose work that is limited, something we can do to get for money, which might work for some people. There are people that are kind of, okay, I do my work, I finish, the work is done, now I'm into my life, and there is no, they can separate their emotional world. At work, they don't get influence, and then they have completely different things in their life, so they can separate work and life. But usually what happens is that most of us, I think, for me that happened, that work expands, doesn't stay in the time that I invest to my job or work, but through the emotional burden or luggage that I carry with me because of work, because of my unfulfillment, I continue to feel this way after work hours too. And then the things that I wanted to do with the money I get from work, to live my life, to enjoy my hobbies, to serve people I love, to invest in my relationships, to travel, whatever is important to me, I don't have energy anymore, because now all my energy goes to close the circle or heal myself from the emotional pain that I have given myself at work. So the idea of separating work from life, and when you are unfulfilled at work, doesn't work. So the work becomes even more bigger burden. When we think of effort and money, what happens is that in addition to money, as the result of my work, I get unfulfillment, pain, sickness, difficulties, and so on and so forth. And that creates a cycle most of the time. I can tell from my own experience as well. When I was unfulfilled at work, what I did was, first of all, at work, that was a pain that I had to do my work, but I didn't want to do, but I was feeling responsible and I wanted to complete my tasks. And I was doing them kind of social media during the work time so that I could get a bit of fulfillment, like feel a bit important and experience a bit of positive emotion, and then continue doing work, which expands the time I spend at work. When I come home, I feel totally drained. And then because I feel totally drained, I want to uplift myself. What do? Open the fridge, eat something. And then I feel even worse about myself because I have eaten terrible food. And then because I feel worse now of eating terrible food, I have to do something else about it. Then this something else is definitely not a great choice for me. And then I feel even worse because I wanted to do meaningful things, at least outside of work, but now I couldn't do, so I went to work, now I feel even worse. So this cycle continues growing like a negative, big negative cycle, because it started from a place of, I don't like what I'm doing. That was simple as that. I don't like what I'm doing. So I could hold it there and explore it without making it even further. And that's the important thing that we have to look at in our support of unfulfilled people at work. And we will be coming to the gifts right now, but this idea of separating work from life ends up in making the work expand to our life and leaving very little space to our lives. This was normal. Why? Because we have started with the definition of work that was saying to us, it's an activity as a job that uses physical, mental effort to do, usually for money. So when we take this simple form, do something, get money, put effort, get money, then it's draining us. Because what is missing? Love is missing. So in addition to adding effort in the transaction, it's actually loving the effort. So loving the doing of the work, not only thinking of it something that I can do, or maybe if it's very effortful, I want to do as little as possible, something I want to do. Doing it is enjoyable for me. I enjoy this process. And the other aspect of the end result that I want to get, it says usually for money. What we do usually for money, it can be for money, and so we are approaching this from a yes and perspective, and for love, and for energy, and for flow, and for meaning. So that is how we can support people to have fulfilling lives, through looking at work into something they put love into, and that love expands. They put their energy, and then the energy generates even more energy. We can see work from that perspective. And actually this work has been seen from that perspective in the literature. Khalil Gibran said, work is love made visible. If we approach the work from the place of love, of course, not putting away the money aspect, I definitely understand we are living in a world where we need to pay for our expenses. So work is for money and for love and for energy and for purpose. And we can explore the work from that perspective. In the book, I'm talking about the work doesn't have to be just for money. I think we can define also the work we do for taking care of our families. This might be my work. Writing poetry, this might be my work. I might define work for me also something that I don't get paid for in money, but in something else. But for our purpose right now, for the careers and for changing the society and changing how we look at work, let's look in the perspective of jobs and where we also earn money. And when we look from the perspective of love, I imagine that the image would look like this. So life in its full expansion and keeps on expanding, like my my wonderful drawings on the side. I wanted to show that it's keeping on expanding, and work is like a sun. It from inside, it keeps on growing, and it also expands life because you put energy into it, and the energy you create out of your work, not only with the output of your work, but also you using your energy and seeing and feeling that and being fully in it and feeling meaning and purpose. You are the person who feel that they have this meaning, and the way that you interact with others will show how you feel and who you are. So you will be, by doing work you love or you are energized by, you are going to energize people you interact with. It's going to change your relationships. It's going to change the way you approach to life, to approach to work, and keeps on expanding. This way that you are will keep on expanding also life. And that is possible, but it's not easy. Might not be easy. Why? Because we don't know ourselves. So we say, I told you in the beginning, we usually choose work that we can and then end up in places we don't love because we haven't considered what we love, but also we might not know what we love. We might not know what we enjoy doing. We might not know our values. We are seeing ourselves from inside that is completely different from how others see us, and is only a little picture of who we are. I liken it to this metaphor. I also describe it in the book. I feel we are like blinded, and at the same time our hands are folded so we cannot also feel anything, and we only discover our shape, our body shape, through walking in a very narrow cave. And this narrow cave, we hit here and there because it's so narrow, and ouch, ouch, by hitting places, we understand our shape. So this is how I liken being unfulfilled at work to discovering who we are, because by the unfulfillment, when we feel unfulfilled, it is a touch to our body. And then we look there and we say, okay, I have this. What does that mean? Oh, there is something about my shape here. What does it tell to me about myself? We are discovering who we are through our unfulfillment in that way. And in the beginning, we have a very little knowledge about self, so we cannot really make a great choice, and that's very, very normal. We continue our journey, and through the unfulfillment we feel, we say, oh, okay, that's I understand that was important to me. And because work invites us, if you are a regular person, you will need to work and you need to make a choice. And to make a choice, you have to pay attention. And because you make a choice, you understand the result of your choices and you understand yourself. So that is exactly why work is a wonderful playground, because it forces us to make choices that make us learn about who we are. And then it is a generative choice because we learn who we are, we implement this learning, we have a new experience, we learn who we are, we have a new experience, we learn who we are, we have a new experience, and we expand who we are and activate who we came to become to this world. So that's why I'm really, really passionate about work, about the opportunity it brings to us individuals, but also collectively, because we work with other people. So I have already mentioned many times we learn about who we are, and that is the first gift of being unfulfilled at work. We learn who we are through the experiences and through hits. The gift of being unfulfilled at work is all of the gifts are actually our qualities that we develop. The seeds that we have inside of us get activated through this experience, and all the unfulfillment experiences activate these seeds for us. So we can pay attention to how we are growing and how we are expanding through these little bits of information. So the first gift is self-awareness that we are activating in every experience. And work usually gives us the learning through what is called via negativa. As coaches, we ask, what is it that is important to you when you feel joy, when you feel fulfilled? So to extract the values. But many of us don't know this. Many of us don't have this because they haven't experienced it. Work makes us experience. And when there is a coaching session, usually people want to change something, there's a problem. And in this problem lies the seed of the knowledge, because we see something we don't like. And this something we don't like invites us to explore what is it that we like. What don't you like, and what does it tell about you? What is important to you? In my first job in audit, which I started, I have discovered that I lacked creativity. I was feeling like suffocated because it was all about being true, following the processes, doing things right, which made me feel really without life inside of my body. I didn't know that was going to happen that way. I wouldn't make the choice to start my work in audit otherwise. But through this experience, I understood that that wasn't something I liked, and I explored what was I missing. It was the creativity for me. So I have learned this about myself, and I implemented this going forward. That is one clear way we support people who are unfulfilled at work. But here is an important thing to pay attention. When there is a very negative activity or experience, we tend to hyper focus on that and miss out what is already working. So always remember, what do you like? Even in the things that we don't like, there's something that we might like. So exploring also this to complete the self-awareness in that unfulfillment experience is important. And work also gives us opportunity to learn through others. As we work with other people, through working with them, we see, they tell us who we are. Through conflicts, we learn what we don't like or what we like, and we communicate and we learn more about ourselves. So we can extract this knowledge by inquiring, what do others tell you about your talents? What do they appreciate you for? And at the same time, when we are unfulfilled, we usually look for a way out, and we look for people we want to be like. And these people we want to be like actually are not different than us. They have something that we see as our potential that we see in other people. So that also tells us about ourselves. And who do you aspire to be like is a good question to explore for this gift of self-awareness. The second gift is self-compassion. Self-compassion is a must, because if you are feeling unfulfilled at work, you can only feel so much unfulfilled until either you burn out or you need to do something about it. And the moment you reach out for help or a way out or a difference, it's the moment when you are practicing self-compassion. It invites us to practice self-compassion, as self-compassion is a muscle, is a quality that we develop. And we don't use this muscle usually, we don't learn it. We might have not learned it. And this unfulfillment at work is the opportunity, is the invitation for us to practice self-compassion. And when we develop this muscle, then we are able to extend it also to others. We can have compassion for others as well. So it starts with, okay, I feel really bad. I want to be good to myself. How can I support myself? Listening to myself, turning to my emotions. So usually we have critical voices inside ourselves that are guiding our decisions. I cannot change because it will look bad in my CV, or you haven't tried everything, do this, do that, you can never do things right. These critical voices continue guiding us and keeps us stuck. And in the point where we are feeling deeply unfulfilled, now we have to face it. Through facing it, we are able to recognize there are also other voices in our head. And this is one of the important works of a coach, to hear, to listen all the different voices and create new space for new nurturing voices to emerge as well. And recognize the moments when this critical and negative cycle of thoughts are appearing, and creating action plans for pausing these cycles and creating new approaches. So how to put a band-aid to myself, how to turn toward myself, how to get with a nurturing way of moving forward.
Ishil, 4 minutes.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
And the third gift is assertion, communicating what you want and staying in communication. Where we stay, where we don't like and continue staying, there is something that we are not changing. There is something that we are not offering, we are not communicating. And that idea of we don't like it, but we are staying in it, tells us that the muscle of assertion is inviting us to develop that. It starts with what is important to you and how will you practice assertion to achieve that. It starts with the feelings that I have at work. So when do I recognize that this is not the way I work, or this is not the way I see it, and I'm not communicating it? So when am I silencing myself, and how can I choose a different way of approaching this? How can I practice that. These qualities are all practices, especially this part of assertion is really important. All of the gifts are important, but to create the work that we love, we are the responsible of communicating what it is that we want. And only through communicating, we can create the environments. We can find one job that matches to our ideals, but the way that we work, the organization, the settings still will influence us unless we are communicating who we are, what we need, how we see things, and keep on communicating. So this assertion aspect is one of the greatest gifts of being unfulfilled at work, because it asks us to do that. We need to do that, otherwise we will keep on suffering and we cannot suffer anymore. There are many more gifts to unfold through this experience, and I have listed them as courage, patience, confidence, discipline, letting go, and there are a couple of more. And why these are important? Because we look to this experience of unfulfillment of, okay, let me close this chapter and start a new one. But it's a continuous journey, and we are expanding. How we are changing in these gifts that we have. How is our courage changing? How is our patience changing? How is our confidence, discipline, letting go, ability to let go changing? We can create awareness around this. And this is where coaches come as the best support. First of all, coaches create this safe space and they offer partnership. It's a very lonely place to feel unfulfilled at work, especially for highly educated people. They are seemed great from outside. People think that they enjoy and they have great conditions. So they have an additional shame of feeling unfulfilled at work. In coaching, they have the space to feel however they feel and express how they feel. And then through this expression, they can decide for themselves what is important for them and what they don't like. They can reflect on their past choices and they can decide what they want to let go. They can see their current choices and the future choices they can create with us. They can be aware of how are they becoming through your coaching. You can create awareness around, okay, self-compassion is developing, self-awareness is developing, patience is developing. This is the journey that people are on. They can aware of the growth that they are having and the gifts that they are activating. And we can facilitate growth and invite for action to test, discover, learn, change, let go, because this is a continuous journey that they will keep on discovering. We can be the mirror, acknowledge, because we can help them see themselves through our mirroring to increase their self-awareness, foster courage and confidence, and of course, maximize potential through these experiences. Okay. So I am going to sum up one more time.
30 seconds.
Yes, thank you.
To summarize. Yes. I'm very sorry because we all would love to keep here, but okay.
I know. So work is an integral part of life. Work is an act of love. We don't know ourselves and we only learn through experience. Unfulfillment at work is a gift because it wakes us up to who we truly are. As we need to choose work, we learn about ourselves and realize our gifts. And work is a playground for our never-ending potential expansion. So thank you very much for listening. And I'm really curious how we are continuing with the questions and answers. So I'm leading it back to you, Anna.
Okay, thank you really very much, Ishil. It was a really great and a very, very interesting subject. I would have lots and lots of questions and insights, but I will go through to the chat. And as far as we have some comments, but not especially any questions. So if anyone would like to make any question, please feel free. Meanwhile, I would like to just read some comments that I find very, very interesting. So one was from Mel. Changing the perception of work drew me to this book and my journey to self-discovery and life energy. So it was a very interesting comment. Also, Anna Penny make kind of question. So what if we love our job and it inspires us and it gives us reasons to content, to write books, YouTube channels, conferences, travels, networking, and win money? So I know some of the ones that are here, and some of the ones that are here have already booked some, written some books, write at different places, have YouTube channels. So I fully agree with this, Anna. And any question to issue? And that we have lots of comments, so brilliant, and thank you. So it was really, really great. Would you like to make any question to issue? And we have also a comment from Aleida. And fulfillment at work normally is perceived as negative, and you give the perspective that is a gift. So love this perspective. So really very interesting approach to the general idea of working.
Thank you very much. So I would invite you then to define your definition, make your definition of work, because I have offered a definition from Khalil Gibran. As a takeaway, as a homework, you can define what is your work. How do you define your work?
Okay. And Isabel also asked, could you please expand your ideas on the second gift on compassion? Of compassion. That was the second gift. Could you please talk a little bit more about it?
Of course, of course. It comes from the place, first of all, what I see happening is that in our normal life, we go into places where we can hide. So I don't know, I have a fight with my husband, hypothetically, and then I can go and just scream at him, and I can go and do something about it. I can punch here and there. I can go into my usual roles without really paying attention to what is happening inside of me, to looking inside of me. And then I can continue this cycle of existing systems and roles and the drama triangle and everything. But at work now, because I have to make choices, and my choices are having impact on many aspects. They are visible to others. They require me to make changes. There is a place for me to really think, to really take time. And this taking time, this thing that is so big, actually invites me to look into myself. That's the difference of work, I think, that allows us to look more into ourselves, because the decision has a very big importance, and it's novel, and there is a lot attached to it. And at the same time, I cannot get out of this decision. So I need to either live with pain, the consequence of pain. I might be afraid of new pain. So it's all about my pain, and I want to solve my pain. So my pain becomes my key point here. And when I am aware of my pain, and I need to sit with my pain, it's a natural human tendency to feel compassion. When we don't escape and we stay with what is, we automatically feel compassion. Otherwise, we cannot feel it because we made ourselves busy with something else. And I see work, unfulfillment at work, is therefore a practice of self-compassion, because it has to be done and we cannot escape from it. And the act of self-compassion is I allow my feelings and I feel my feelings, and I'm not afraid of my feelings, because my feelings will be there. So by recognizing, looking into my feelings, I'm able to help myself or hear what that means about myself and care about myself. This genuine interest and care, the self-compassion, arises from the unfulfillment. That's why I see it as a gift. And that's not easy, because we immediately, when we want to be self-compassionate, the way we have seen compassion or love comes into practice. And that comes from probably parents and authority figures. As coaches, you know all this. And we develop our own way of taking care of ourselves, because that is only our experience. The other people cannot understand us the way that we understand our own feelings. And that evolves into this natural or my way of taking care of myself that expands to the rest of my life. So would that be a useful expansion? Thank you.
Estás sem som, Ana.
So far we don't have any more questions, but a lot of congratulations for your speech and for this very, very nice and interesting conversation. So I will thank you and thank you all for attending. And just to remind you, we will have now a session starting at 10. That will be the link will be in some minutes here in the chat so that you can attend. And also I would like to invite you for tomorrow to be at Suez for a nice moment of networking. So yesterday we have one and it was very nice. So please.
Anna, before you go, you still have 2 minutes, and there is a question from Ana Isabel Marino. Do you want to ask?
Yes.
I was just writing.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have some seconds, so okay. So, and Isabel asked, when you mentioned assertion, you mean asking for what you need at work?
Yes, not only at work, but at work is the most visible. Why we don't get what we want is because we don't communicate what we want or what we need. That's one thing, communicating what you need, what you want, and introducing also your own thoughts and feelings to the conversation. And then also doing it in other areas of life. That is just at work you can do it, but also when you are invited into party, you don't want to go, you just go because it is the right thing to do. Changing, it's the right thing to do, that is, I want to do it, and that's important to me. Wherever you are not doing it, wherever you have this inner sense, I'm escaping from this, I'm retreating, whereas in myself, I know that this is not what I want, or I want something different. There is the opportunity for practicing assertion, because that's what you will need to keep on creating the work that you love.
Okay, we have another challenge for you from Gabriel, and he invites you to, would you like to share your own vision of your definition of work?
Yeah, I have written a full book about it, but I will read a little part. So what I also shared is that there's another definition from Cambridge for work, and it is working iron. So this means processing something and creating something out of it. So I really like this definition of working something, because for me it's processing who you are and your energy into an output that you love. And I wrote a little poem about this, but it's not one definition, but it says, work is I guess I show part of it in the presentation. Work is an integral part of life. Work is an act of love. Work is giving yourself to an object or activity. Work is your generosity. Work creates energy. Work is your humanity. Work is not only for money. Work is your natural creativity. I would say work is your unique energy, transformed into a material or a service or into what you want to shape it.
Yeah. Indeed, when we put love, and I would say also passion, in everything we do, it comes into another sphere. So thank you very, very much, Michelle. Thank you all for attending, and we will have another session at 10. So thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you, Michelle, and thank you for all the sponsors. Okay. See you in 15 minutes. Okay.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.